if you remember a few months back, a few months, I think I started talking about it in, maybe not November, I don't know. I can't remember what month I started talking about this. But the Lord was showing me Hezekiah, 2 Kings, chapter 20, verses 9 through 11. And that is, Hezekiah and the sundial. Like he got sick and he repented and, so Isaiah came to him and said, hey, God wants to add years to your life. How do you want God to confirm it to you? Do you want the shadow to go backwards, or do you want it to go forwards? And he said he wanted it would be a greater confirmation if it went backwards, right? So if you've been following me and watching my videos, great, Bill, awesome. But if you've been watching my videos, I've been talking about Hezekiah and what I feel like he's like, what the Lord's been talking to me about, and a pole shift, with all of these things going on in the world, with the floods and the earthquakes and the different things, and just all the odd things that seem to be going on, right? Which of course we kind of chalk it up to Matthew 24, like, okay, we are in the end of the end. And yes, we are definitely end of the end. We're, right there. And but I'm just not scientifically intellectual on that spectrum. And so I asked a guy, hey, the Lord's been showing me this verse, and, this guy is Christian as well. He puts what's going on today with, biblical events and scripture and things like that. So I thought, well, why don't I just ask him, right? Just what would it hurt? He either will answer me or maybe not, whatever. But I just threw it out there. And I was not prepared for the answer. And I'm still trying to learn it. I mean, it's way over my head. But let me just show you guys this. And hopefully I can reach more people with the video. I know I posted it and things. But sometimes, posts don't really move very much. So let me just pull it up here. Okay, can you see that? Okay, so I posted, and this is what I wrote. I said, remember when the Lord was telling me about Hezekiah and how I thought it could relate to possibly the pole shifting, right? So I'm not going to repeat all of this, but basically I put on there what I just kind of talked to you about. But, he comes up with, I just was thinking, okay, he'll answer me with a simple question or answer, or maybe I don't know, or something like that. And my gosh. So he puts it right on here. And like 3 pages worth. But it's talking about the 700 BC pole shift and destroyer. Okay? And he talks about the planet X, 7X, which is very odd, 7. There's been 7s, just if you've heard me talk about it, completion and things like that. And then 7 planets aligning back in February and all of that. But he goes on with the earth tilted, King Hezekiah and Isaiah, right? A pole shift, 26 degrees to 28 degrees, occurred during King Hezekiah's rule as king. A passing of the destroyer. King Hezekiah's royal seal was discovered in excavations in 2009 near the southern wall of the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, the capital of Judah. His seal measures just over a centimeter in diameter and bears an impression depicting a twin-winged sun and wings turned downward, flanked by ankh, I think is how you pronounce it, symbols, and containing a Hebrew inscription that reads, belonging to Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, king of Judah. What's amazing about this discovery is it gives us insight into the time of King Hezekiah's reign and a remarkable event recorded in the Bible. The main account of Hezekiah's reign, 727 through 698 BC, as king of Judah is found in the Old Testament of the Holy Bible, 2 Kings 18, chapters 18 through 20, in which it's also shown in Isaiah 36 through 39 and 2 Chronicles 29 through 29 through 32. So during Hezekiah's reign, he became sick and near death and prayed and wept bitterly to the Lord, and the Lord heard his prayer and gave King Hezekiah, gave King Hezekiah a sign that he would add 15 years to his life. Okay, so the destroyer, the twin-winged sun, tilted the earth 26 degrees to 28 degrees in a pole shift for him, as recorded in Isaiah 38:8 and 2 Kings 20:9 through 11. Okay, so just picture the 9/11, okay, because we're going to go into 9/11. You've heard me over and over talk about 9/11, that the Lord's been showing me this. So that's another part of this. So Isaiah 38:8, behold, I will bring again the shadow of the degrees, which is gone down in the sundial of Ahaz 10 degrees steps backward. So the sun returned 10 degrees or steps, by which degrees or steps was gone down. So this is the 2 Kings 20:9 through 11. And Isaiah said, this sign shalt thou have of the Lord, and the Lord will do the thing that he hath spoken. Shall the shadow go forward 10 degrees or back 10 degrees? And Hezekiah answered, it is a light thing for the shadow to go down 10 degrees. Nay, but let the shadow return backward 10 degrees. And Isaiah the prophet cried unto the Lord, and he brought the shadow 10 degrees backward, by which it had gone down in the dial of Ahaz. There are historical accounts for this as well. In circa 705 BC, Chinese astronomers recorded that the sun set twice in the same day. They saw the sun set, rise again from the west, and set again. There were 30 ancient calendars at the time that had 360-day years. 360-day years up until circa 701 to 706 BC. Okay, so let me go to the second one here. Okay. Did I just read that? Yeah. Over a period of 5 years, 30 cultures that were living at that time had to change their calendars to 365 days a year, or years. Over a period of 5 years, 30 cultures that were living at the time had to change their calendars to 365. Did I just read that over again? I did, didn't I? It's getting late. The stars didn't line up, the entire planet shifted, and the Earth moved backward about 10 hours. Everything had changed. Virtually all ancient calendars were initially based on a 360-day year. Okay, 12 months of 30 days each. However, all calendars changed in 701 BC. They all resort to adjustments to accommodate the current sidereal reckoning, and that was quoted by Chuck Missler. It said Isaiah counseled Hezekiah that God was going to intervene and protect him. Okay, so we talked about that, and he did. And on Passover night of March 20th, 701 BC, the angel dramatically destroyed 185,000, which is of an estimated 250,000 Assyrians. It is provocative and perhaps quite insightful that so many catastrophic events frequently occurred on the precise anniversary of the Passover of Egypt. This is suggestive of a cyclical, perhaps orbital mechanism being employed. Could these events also bear a relationship to the drama that occurred on the fabled long day of Joshua? Okay, remember we talked about Joshua, the book of Joshua. The subsequent behavior regarding Ahaz's sundial is also suggestive of some cosmological irregularities. Could they all be related to orbital planetary intervention? And that's by Chuck Missler also. Okay, so here we go into Planet X. Okay, it's also known as Nibiru. It is often referred to as the winged planet or the winged destroyer, Nibiru. And to the Babylonians was a celestial body associated with the god Marduk, I guess. The name is Akkadian and means crossing place or place of transition. The term Nibiru comes from the ancient cuneiform tablets and writings dating a few thousand years old. Nibiru means planet of the crossing, and its cuneiform sign was often a cross or various winged discs. Its image can be found throughout Egyptian artifacts and rebuilt architecture after it passed during the night of Passover when Moses was sent to deliver the Hebrew slaves. Wow. I am convinced this is the object that moved the earth for King Hezekiah, the same winged sun on his seal. And it's funny, it talks about the seal and the ring, and the Lord showed me back with Elon, and which Elon is all about space and tied to NASA and all this kind. It's starting all to connect, right? Oh, my goodness. Anyways, so I believe it was a brown dwarf star, which is red in color. A brown dwarf is half planet, half sun, and is a failed star. Okay, keeps going on. We are in a binary solar system with two suns. 80% of the solar systems discovered have two suns. I believe it's incoming now, the reason for the extreme weather all over the world. Okay, the binary solar system. Okay, now the Lord has led me to Brandon Biggs. He's got the last days on YouTube, and the Lord's been wanting me to intercede with him just in like the last month or so. And so I've been doing the prayers and things like that with him on the videos. So, but he has talked about a binary, like his vision, he sees like a binary solar system that's causing things to happen in the atmosphere, and the animals, their whole mating season and things like that, their migrations are going to be thrown off, is what he was calling it. And he said this seems to be dealing with something with the sun or lack thereof, a binary system. So this would go along with something he said. So this confirmed to me that another witnessing a binary system. Okay, so it keeps going on, and we're almost done. It says, I'm convinced in the same great red dragon of Revelation 12, 3-5, the next sign to appear in the heavens before or during the rapture of the church, us believers. The same object that will make the sun go dark and the moon to turn blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord. And that Revelation 12, 3-5 is, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great fiery red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. Okay, so, and then on there I had, some links that you can go to. There's a video that kind of explains it a little bit more. But I have a few pictures of it. You can screenshot this or whatever, or go back on my post and kind of see. But different things. And then see the royal seal, his ring, right? Signet ring. I mean, my goodness. And then there's the pole shift, okay? As the destroyer passed by. And here's a diagram, okay? There's the Earth's orbit, and then there's the orbit of the destroyer, which is the planet X, Nibiru, okay? The winged planet. And then here's a little bit, but really, it's hard to see you guys, I need glasses, or else I would read this for you, and it may be hard for you guys, I'm sure, to read it off But anyways, there's some proof. There's some things for you guys to go and research some more, and I will too, because I'm so, like, I wouldn't say I'm lost. It's when you've known one thing for your whole life, and then all of a sudden, a whole nother, like a binary system is thrown in there, and just, it's kind of over my head. But